Hi, what's going on guys? It's Almond. Welcome back to another Wizard101 video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how, in a way, essentially, a lot of the cheese in the game that existed no longer exists to a certain extent. So I'll give you guys my opinions and thoughts behind it as well, so to give you guys more of an insight of what exactly happened within the Walrus patch, because I feel like this is a topic that nobody brought up, which I already knew got patched, but I just never made a video on it. But players are just recently finding this out. So I was like, you know what, I'll make a video on it and give you guys my opinion about it. So if you do enjoy this type of content, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that type of stuff, and join the Discord if you guys haven't. We're close to hitting 600 members. I appreciate everybody that does join and everything like that, or even subscribing to the YouTube channel, of course. But basically the whole premise is a lot of the cheese in the game that did exist did get patched with Walrus coming out. Now it did exist in test realm because I personally tested it myself. I don't have recording of it sadly because I was looking through all my footage. Apparently I didn't record it, but I went to go test all the bosses that like a lot of people did cheese. Basically any boss that had like a bubble cheat or a minion cheat, like round one, you could ignore all those cheats essentially. So it didn't just exclude just those types of bosses. Other bosses did include like Storm Titan. I did make a video regarding Storm Titan that you can just stagger join, right? Stagger joining is essentially what got patched, and that affected like a lot of bosses. It affected Storm Titan and it affected the Burrower key boss that a lot of people did use to farm because you got 3 free rounds of just him not hitting you. But you can still do the fight like with the Pierce strat. It's just that it changes it so you don't get those extra 3 rounds of him not hitting you. It doesn't affect it in that degree, but you can still do it if you wanted to. So that is one of those reasons where it's like, okay, well, stagger joining did get patched, what do I do? You can just still do the fight with the Pierce blades and everything like that and just go for a whole percent Pierce build on that boss, of course. So that did happen, and it did affect the Burrower key boss, of course. As well, it affected a lot of players who do farm Monstrology or care about Monstrology to a certain extent, because there were a lot of bosses such as Devour and Renegade Druid that were basically like really annoying to farm for Animus, because a lot of people do have those as like house guests and stuff like that, and they do trade it along other players. But those bosses became back to what they originally were, which however many rounds it takes. I don't know if I'll go revisit them at any point because I don't think I've ever made a video talking about those bosses in itself, but maybe if players want me to, I can go back and do them when it's like 2024 and just title it as a video. That's possible as well. But that's not on my radar at the moment. But like I was saying, it basically affected a lot of bosses and made it so you can't really cheese them as quickly as possible. Does that mean cheese as entirely is just doesn't exist? No. Like, I mean, Scald and Syndiate still exists, and there's still certain bosses where you can use certain cards to just completely ignore cheats. Of course, there's some tech behind other cards, which I might eventually make videos upon, because not everything is just Scald and Syndiate. There's certain bosses where you can do certain things to get more drops than the intended way. There's certain things that you can do to ignore cheats, like using Beguile or using other things to make it so that you can accelerate these fights just as fast. I mean, of course, Scald and Syndiate's always going to exist till one day that they actually nerf it, which I would hope that they don't, right? I mean, because it doesn't affect advanced combat, and it doesn't affect anything that's like PvP or raids or basically anything that's like that they're trying to go towards. Of course, like regular combat, Scald and Syndiate exists. If it really annoys them that much, they can just make bosses that have some type of cheat against Incendiate or something like that, which they eventually might do, right? Because this upcoming year we're not going to have a new world, so maybe the side content might have something that has dot cheats, or maybe the Nightmare Dungeon might have something along those lines. Who knows? We have to wait and see when it comes to that type of content when it does come out. But there will always be cheese in the game, so I know a lot of players are saying, well, stagger joining is gone, now what? Like, it's still, you can still do other things in fights. It doesn't like completely change that. I know the thing is though with stagger joining is, to a certain extent, it is considered an exploit, right? Even though you might do it unintentionally at times and be like, oh, it just happened, whatever type thing. players were gonna get banned for it at one point. And with the whole Hunhow thing that happened like a while back, the next thing that was basically could have got me banned was doing stagger joining videos. So that getting patched, essentially, yes, it does make the fights back to normal, what they should be, and also get rid of like some cheese that does exist in the game. But at least you won't get banned for something that isn't, you know, your fault. Because I did make a video prior to this, I think like a while back, regarding about how stagger joining could essentially get me banned, and it had to get up on their priority list so that then they can fix it. And thankfully, I mean, yes, I mean, I have some like, okay, I'm gonna miss it regardless. I mean, who knows, they might do something where it might break again, because that's very possible, right? It happened with Mr. Montgomery on test realm. I mean, luckily, I mean, hey, that is test realm, but it broke it in a bad way, meaning it did accelerate the fight for challenge mode essentially, but it made it so that there was like multiple minions, and obviously you do not want that, especially in challenge mode, because of course that's not intended. But there is very possible instances, who knows, with the Nightmare Dungeon come out, because when that does come out, there might be cheats behind it that are bugged, there might be cheeses to be found, there might be certain things to just break bosses. People are gonna find something, and it's bound to happen, of course, because we don't think we're gonna have a test run for it, which I really think, I'm gonna stand by this, I really think that they should have a test realm for the Nightmare Dungeon. I know that they really might not, but I think that they should. I mean, it will make the player base a little bit more happy, so they don't have to worry about bugs when they do come into live realm. A lot of players do not like bugs, and of course, I mean, bugs are bound to happen with video games, of course, but I think that they should really look careful into the Nightmare Dungeon and look careful into all the upcoming content within the new year, like the side content that we're going to get towards the end of the year, of course. That it should be really looked into. I mean, that's the only thing I can really say. Of course, I'll be there if there's test realm. Of course, I'll be there to test whatever I can and make videos upon them. But that's about all I can say. Of course, I'll try my best to see what kind of cheese that we can come up with, because stuff does get patched quite often. So of course, I will still try my best when it comes to content making, and I'll still be posting like strats for bosses. I know people want me to redo the general Blightbane or Lightbane or whatever his name is, and redo that video, because hey, you can't do stagger join, does it affect the fight, everything like that. I mean, you can do it the intended way with doing the counters and stuff like that, but we'll see. I'll eventually upload videos regarding all these bosses that I have to redo at a certain extent, right? So that's all for today's video. It's kind of like a small video, just talking about stagger joining getting patched, which players should be aware of. I mean, it's been patched for like since Wallaroo came out. It's been patched in test realm too, of course, whenever test realm did happen for Wallaroo, but I just never had time to get around to it and make a video to notify everybody, which kind of is my fault, but hey, videos here regardless. But yeah, hopefully you guys have been enjoying the holidays. Hopefully you guys are enjoying whenever New Year's happens. Hopefully you guys have a good holiday when that comes out. And yeah, so that is it for the video, guys, and be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all type of stuff. Join the Discord if you guys haven't, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.